So we're into the journey here, and you've acquired a couple of properties, sold a couple of properties, started the business, and then inevitably gone through this learning curve that we all have. How did you go about juggling the two worlds? Because at this point, you've got a business you can grow and reinvest in and do things in property, and then you could also acquire more property or other investments in the way you do it. Was there any way you thought about it, or was there anything you were particularly looking to achieve between the two?
Look, it was incredibly exciting at first to be in a job where I could improve my investing skills every day and grow my contacts and, learn through my clients' experiences as well and feed that back around to help them. And, I continued to invest in property, but our business also at the start took a lot of cash, and to grow from just the two of us and getting the first few employees and then realizing, what I've really actually just bought myself here is a job. How do I grow into having a middle management layer? So that was then the next big, step where you're paying for middle management, but you can't yet really afford it. So I wanted to be more removed from the day-to-day and just do the things I love. And so making that investment was important for me. And I also added then a business development manager so that I didn't have to do the front end of the selling of our service. And then, of course, you've got the incredible investment in marketing to generate the leads and grow. And when you don't have that reputation and other things to lean on, it's just, massive marketing spend to drive the business out there, isn't it? Have you guys been in similar positions when starting from scratch?
Well, one of the things I'm probably a little bit more envious of here is like I'm thinking in the moment of like, you've got a very people-heavy business. You've got to have like somewhere to operate from, like offices and things like that, where a lot of the people in the online world, like Grant and I, we just spin up a new domain and we don't necessarily have to worry about like leases and things in the same world, where this is a much more capital intensive and people intensive business. Like to get one off the ground at the level you're talking about, we're not talking about spending 10 grand. We're probably talking about investing several $100,000 in getting the business to that point.
So look, that continued to suck cash, and I was always torn because I wanted to be doing more investing at certain times, but you've just got to give your business what it needs as well to get to the next level. Otherwise, it's just going to stay you and your business partner and no leverage and no scale. So that was a conscious choice of actually, okay, the business needs the cash now, I'm putting it in. And then about 7 years into the business, my business partner and I started to drift apart. So she had different goals. She was winding back and preparing for retirement and taking 6-month holidays at a time. And it was a really difficult period for me. So, and her. So we were wanting to do, different things with the business. I was driving hard, doing 50, 60 hours a week, and she was on, a beach in somewhere in Europe. So
seems fair.
Yeah. Well,
seems really aligned, right?
Oh, it's completely aligned. That's how you win.
It was tough. So we were not putting in equal contributions, but she wanted to be remunerated equally. So it seemed really unfair to me at the time, and we should have had an agreement in place on how to handle that transition. So that would be something that I'd suggest any business owner does that's got a business partner. Look at, are your roles going to change, and how could you change your remuneration as they do? So
yeah,
big learning.
That's huge there. So how did that play out? Because my understanding, and I hope to be corrected, is, but I don't believe you have a business partner today.
No, that's how it played out.
There you go.
So was this, you took over the same business, or you went, no, this thing, we'll just replace it with something else?
So we got in one disagreement about it all, and she asked to be bought out of her 50% share, which was a huge shock because I'd never planned for it. I'd never prepared for it. And my choices, because we had a pretty ordinary buy-sell agreement, there was no option for paying her out over time. It was basically come up with $1.5 million, Jarrad. I want it like ASAP, or we're going to sell the business. That was my options. And it was, really daunting, but I can feel the memory's coming up right now.
I can hear the stress kicking in.
Say.
I'm like, just lay down on the couch and here's a pillow to hug.
Yeah.
Jared.
So
I've got some good news. I've heard this turns out okay.
it does.
I'm like, I feel like I know the ending.
We're building.
But still, to be, it's funny how many people end up in businesses, and like when you're starting out, is like to get a business partner can be a huge advantage because you get that speed.
I wouldn't take it back. We complemented each other perfectly. We were an awesome team. We were in perfect alignment for 7 years. We did build an amazing business to that point. But, I just wish I'd had the foresight or previous experience or other mentors around me to say, hey, look at how this transition is going to happen. She's much older, going to want different things. Look at your buy, sell and cater for paying someone out overtime instead of like immediately. Yep. But thankfully, the one silver lining to this was that my investing that I've been doing in my properties outside of the business enabled me to pull together that cash. I'd sold everything. It was just, we're clearing deck, pulling all cash in. I took a loan against the business in part as well. And that enabled me to pay her out. So it was a big, balls to the wall moment where I was used to running the business with having a partner, and then to transition and see me as the sole leader and, really grow into that leadership role as well was significant too.
Can I just ask a clarifying question there? Had you been buying more properties in that 7 years and then had to clear everything out? Yeah. Was this just the original group? So you had been. So you'd acquired more.
Not many, but at least two. Yeah.
And then all of it, gone to – wow.
Yep.
Talk about
against the business.
Because there was the refinancing wasn't enough. Like I had to just get all the equity out and, clear house. Literally. So it was
big move. So what happened next?
Well, in the 7 years since, I've nearly doubled the business, thankfully, and through some very difficult times in the Perth market too. So we had 4 or 5 years of a down market where rents dropped 33%, and once I'll come to that in a minute as being one of my bigger challenges and wins, but once the business got to a size that it was growing more organically, and I had an amazing team, and we'd won all these state and national awards and had that reputation, I was able to really dial in the profits over the last few years, which was, awesome.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into being a full stack business owner, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.